In the match between Iran and England, something unlikely happened before the game. Iranian players did not sing the national anthem. Sandeep, so what was the reason behind that?
I think number one, whenever there is a global event, and we've seen it over the years 20, 30, 40 years, like the Olympic Games used to be the main area where, you could have some kind of harbor a feeling which is against your own government, or maybe there were some causes that you wanted to raise. This becomes like a massively global stage. You got the entire world looking at it. And I think Iran, whatever they have been going, over this whole thing about headscarves and the entire agitation happening in Iran, the Iranian football team, one has to understand, is something which is very special for Iran. It's their team, which is like the Indian cricket team. If the Indian cricket team does something abroad which is against the government, then it kind of gets highlighted massively. Now, Iran had this opportunity. It's already been done. Not singing the national anthem was not the first time that an Iranian team has not done. The water polo team did it. The basketball team did it. But the news wasn't that big because it wasn't the World Cup. The Iranian water polo team may be one of the best in Asia, but it wasn't like the Asian Games was happening or something. Here, for whatever has happened in Iran, they probably had something in their minds that they need to do this. Also remember, the fans would have been angry with them if they hadn't done this. They know that the government is going to be against them now. They know that there's going to be huge problems. But the activist athlete, after a long time, has emerged in the form of a team. Now, there are two ways to look at this also, and it's one needs to be careful how one puts the words. A lot of fans from Iran are in Qatar, to the tune of almost 60 to 70,000 fans have arrived. Now, what has happened is that at the gates of the stadium, most of the fans were stopped. Why? Because they were carrying flags of the pre-revolutionary period. Now, those flags are not allowed. And
Pre-revolutionary as in?
As in when the revolution happened under Ayatollah Khomeini and they became IR Iran, which is the Islamic Republic of Iran.
That was in?
This was in the 70s.
Okay.
That is when it became an Islamic Republic. Before that, it was massively progressive. Iran is one of the most progressive countries in Asia at that point of time. Even now, we've spoken about this. Look at films, you look at their literature. It's massive. They have such a vast history that you actually start evolving yourself into that, and you will find that how deep it can go. And I think that's what the people are now reacting against, that this is not us. And the Iran team is symbolic of that. The symbol was there. And even at the national anthem, they didn't sing it. But I think a lot of images haven't yet come out from the stadium, which are of fans singing the national anthem of the pre-revolutionary one. So that, I think, probably is what Iran and Qatar must have spoken about, that this needs to stop. But the activism part is something that now Iran is symbolic for. At least 90% of these players are going to go home. Probably a few of them, like the Feyenoord guy, the striker, he's probably going to go back to Holland or something, or maybe he'll go back. But everybody's family is there. They've taken a lot of risk to do this. But this is not the first time it's happening on a global stage. It's always happened. It's happened regularly at the Olympic Games. There's one example that I would probably need to put up for this is 1968, John Carlos and Tommy Smith were part of the Olympic team, sprinters, gold medalists, superb runners. They raised the fist above their heads on the podium. Now, that was against racial injustice for blacks. What happened after that? They were suspended from Mexico, where the Olympics was happening, and they were sent back home. Even when they reached back home, there were death threats against them from the white majority. Now, that was 1968. This is now, and it's still happening. So, for a lot of people, the global stage is what is required. That, you stand there and you kind of do a protest, which the world kind of tries and understands that this is what is going wrong in my country, and that is the reason I'm protesting. I think you may have two schools of thought here. One saying that whether it is right or wrong. I do believe that if you don't cross a particular line, which is rules, which is what FIFA wants, which is what a country wants, then you're perfectly in your right to do it. And I think what Iran has done is symbolic, and I think this should probably go a little deep, and the world needs to understand that apart from playing football, And apart from winning or losing, is not what Iran is going to be famous for in this particular World Cup after losing and all of that. They are really going to be famous for showing their heart. And I think that's what they have shown here.
They really showed, character. They really showed bravery, courage, because they know that the consequences of this could be really, hard to take. So salute to the players of Iran. And for more such stories, stay connected to News 9. We'll be back with more interesting news, insights, facts, and figures from the World Cup, from the FIFA World Cup. Until then, keep watching News 9. This is Hardik Agrawal signing off.